Yes, it was an amazing game. Obviously, it's always good to beat a team like Mexico. I understand that they're a top team in CONCACAF. They had pretty good players back then. Back then, I remember Tecatito, Hector Herrera, Guardado. It was a nice tech. I think we're gonna remember that game, forever. Pretty much Sam jumping into the snow, and those two goals that we scored by Kyle. It's amazing moments, and we hope we can repeat that tomorrow. It's hard to answer that, but I feel that internally, I feel that we're in the best stage we can be right now. We have the Copa America experience. We felt very good against the US. In a sense where we dominated the game. We had a lot more chances to score. We had more shots, more corners, more passes. So I feel that at this time right now, we are more concerned about us, how we can get better, how we can be the best Canada version possible. And I think if that happens, it'll be enough to beat Mexico tomorrow.
Yeah, that was the X factor a little bit in preparing for this match, as we had certain things prepared ahead of time, but we knew we would have to watch the New Zealand match. Now that we have, look, we know they have quality on the ball. We know they have a lot of players that are mobile and creative. And, it'll be, I think, important for us again to have a disciplined match, one where defensively we are organized and we press well and make it difficult for their talented players and mobile players to find space. And then I think we can expect that they will be aggressive at certain moments to press us and make it difficult for us. And we have to have a good match plan with the ball and be active and confident on the ball, and then have dynamic movements to try to test their back line and make it difficult for their defense. So it's similar to the US in terms of some of the structure of what the game will look like, but it's different that I think they have some very technical players that are good in tight spaces. And if we're not organized specifically defensively, they can break us down and then start to get some of their talented attacking players on the run. So we talked a little bit about it already today, and we're going to have another meeting, a little training session, and then get ourselves ready for tomorrow. Yeah, I think, look, we got to, I referenced those two guys because it was great to see them come into the team and do so well. I'm trying to build a broader player pool, right? So what I don't want us to do is get to 2026 and only have 11 players to draw on. And I think that's a recipe for failure in a tournament format. So the players understand that we're trying to push the level of the entire group. Even when we bring guys in, I've asked the leaders to really integrate them the right way and challenge them to understand what we're trying to do, get them up to speed, help them understand who we are and what we're trying to become. And everybody has been committed to that wholeheartedly, fully. And yeah, I mean, look, we're going to evaluate who can recover and who can go again after a demanding game that we had against the US. And we will for sure bring some new players on the pitch and make sure that they're ready to perform. And I think that's a really good sign of our group overall, that no matter really over the first 9 games, almost to a man, no matter who's played, the roles have been understood, the performances have been clear, and the collective has been sharp. So if we can continue on that path, then we can continue to build upon what we're developing. Yeah, we're doing something similar, but we're not ready to announce what we're going to do yet. But as an official opponent, we will only have Panama, and then we'll have a couple other things built in that we'll be announcing soon after the window for the October window. And I'll just a little bit of the secret is also combining some of our relationships and commitment with the community. So we'll get to that in a week or so, but we'll be excited to announce what our plans are for the next window. Yeah, what pleased me the most is that the players and their individual behaviors and their understanding of the kinds of reactions and the kinds of ways to fit into the game is just getting so clear. And that's a big compliment to the intelligence that we have in the team. And I think they're inspired by what we're doing, right? Like I think there's clarity, there's an understanding of the what, why, and the how, and then it gives them the freedom and the I think, the desire to go out and be aggressive as a group and show who they are. Like, so much of what we're trying to do is not just like a tactical football framework. It's a mentality, and it's a development of like an expression of the team and the players and their personalities. And it brings me so much joy when I see them like really being the best versions of themselves and really going after the game with confidence and belief in themselves. And I think that gives us a really good platform to continue to push what we want to become.
Obviously, I think it depends on, the opponent and, the game plan that the coach wants us to do, but it gives us an edge. Obviously, we have players that are in form. They're able to sprint hard. We're a fast team. We're an aggressive team, and I think by playing forward and stepping a little bit out of our comfort zone, but at the same time understanding that this is a very good way to just recover the ball in high lines and play forward. That's very hard for a midfielder sometimes. The coach is always honest about that, but it makes us create more opportunities, have more shots, have more corners, and that makes us believe that we can be on top of these teams. And we've been having a tough time in the past couple of years to play against these teams, and now feeling that we're having edges in the game, during the game, that we're better, that we're on top of them, we're playing on their half, makes us feel very good, makes us feel believe that all this work that we've been working on in camp and training about making more sprints, being more vertical, is paying off. And I think that's the best thing for a player, is to believe that the work we've been doing is paying off, and I think we've been showing it.
Yeah, I would say that as much as it's about pressing and counter pressing, and I know that people will often maybe discuss that about me, because there is truth to that, and that is what I try to employ with our teams. But for me, it's about elevating the speed of play and the speed of play at which they play, at they think, at they react, and how they do it collectively. So there's a physical methodology, a soccer methodology, and a mental methodology behind it. And then we supplement it into the tactical model, and we ask them to really now understand collectively how to go after the game, and to have an understanding of roles and tactical strategies in all phases of the game, at all moments of the game, and then build that, more and more over time. And then it requires me to be clear with my communication and what my expectations are from them, and then to also provide them with the opportunity to put it to practice, to make mistakes, but to make the right kinds of mistakes, and then to learn from them and add it to who they are. And so that's why I've said, like, it's not just about when they're with the national team. It's about overall, like, the things that I'm trying to give Steph, I'm trying to equip him with more and more abilities that will make him better in his life and in his career, that he can apply to wherever he goes. And I think that they feel the sense of that, and they feel how much stronger they can be in a match, and clearer and faster. And no matter how their club team asks them to play, if they can add these things in the right way, they will be successful in their club careers as well. And so, and it also helps, like, you see that some of the guys that have made the moves, they're elevating their careers. Like, I believe that we're going to put together a package of what this is, and help all of them grow to benefit themselves in their lives. And then also, obviously, what we do with the national team. We've had a lot of discussions with the people from the CPL, with different clubs. We have Mauro Eustaquio, Steph's brother, in. So we've had two Eustaquios. Mauro has said he's the better looking Eustaquio. I don't know if that's true or not. He's definitely the best looking Mauro compared to Mauro Biello. But we're even trying to think about how to build some other camps that may not include the European players, that are more focused on domestic players, and certainly with an emphasis on CPL and young MLS players to bring into the fold. We want to also build out our youth national team programs, so that some of these younger players in Canada and that are in CPL programs and MLS academies can now be integrated into our style of play, into our way of thinking, into what we're trying to achieve with the first national team. So there's a lot of discussions, and I'm still gathering information from a lot of helpful people and leaders in the sport. to figure out what are our best strategies so that we can move the game forward in Canada. But I can tell you there's a real eagerness from everyone I've spoken to support the national team and to continue to think about how to create a better infrastructure for what the sport can be in the country. And we're going to maximize those energies to figure out what's best to do, how to keep pushing levels, and how to continue the investment made into this.
Well, my team shares your hotel here in Arlington, and there was an issue with the water. There was a water break that caused the whole hotel to have no water. And I was wondering if that affected in your preparation for today. I see you guys are laughing. So I
Yeah,
hope
because
that
we're
if
sure
there's
that the
any.
Mexicans turned the water off here. Why do they do that?
Well, I could attest you that as a Mexican, I didn't see no fellow Mexicans messing with the water, sir.
Yeah,
But
I've heard of the fire alarm. I've never heard turn the water off. So this is a new
yeah.
tactic. No, I mean, we're fine. I think we're hopeful the water comes back on, but it's still a good hair day for Steph, so we're doing okay.
But the mariachis are coming. They're on their way for tonight.
Okay. Look, I appreciate that in Mexico that the game is at such a high level that there's a lot of critical thinking about where the sport needs to go. But look, I was in with Chivas USA. I've been down to Mexico for so many years. My level of respect for what the game is, the development of the sport, the commitment they have to development of young players and what it means to their overall player pool, their league. Like for me, I have so much respect for the game in Mexico. And then look, it's been some tough times for the national team. And part of it is that there's a lot of expectation to live up to in the country. But make no mistake that we are expecting a very good team, an organized team, a team with more energy and more commitment, especially with a new manager, to show that these players want to be involved in the long-term project. I think their first performance against New Zealand was very strong right from the first second of the match where they got an early goal. A bunch of new players came on the pitch during the match and showed that they can compete for starting spots. A lot of quality players playing at big clubs, a young team, a dynamic team. We are expecting a very, very difficult match tomorrow, and we are preparing for a game that a team that's smart, a team that's mobile, a team that's talented, gifted, committed. So we're really ready for the best version of a Mexican national team in most recent history.
Thank you, Coach, and I hope they do fix the water for all our sakes. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, man. Yeah, well, look, there's a combination of watching the game. Okay, so watching CPL, watching youth games, watching academy games, meeting with leaders in the sport, including leaders within the CSA, which we've done to uncover all the good things that have been done and where the game needs to go from here. Fundraising with Kevin Blue is a major part of this to make sure that we're getting the kind of funds to help create the infrastructure that we think we need, and then how we design that infrastructure so that we give both our men's and women's programs the opportunity to thrive and grow in the country. And then also the infrastructure from a resources standpoint in terms of facilities and training centers and all these things, so that in the end we're providing everything we need to help the sport grow. And in there, I'm always trying to figure out how for me to integrate the things that I think are important for the game from a pure football perspective, but I'm trying to do it in a way where I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just there as a resource if people want to hear my thoughts, but I don't want to be forceful in terms of saying we need this, and this, and act like I have it all figured out. I still have to be, I think the best way to be a uniter is to be a good listener, and then to figure out how to bring people together under the idea of what we're trying to create as a national team program.
Obviously, it's very nice to have my brother here, but the relationship I try to keep here in camp is player coach. Obviously, I haven't been with him around this year. He's been in Canada and I've been in Portugal, so it's always nice to see him. But at the same time, we're in a very professional environment, so I just try to grow under Jesse, and whatever he asks me to do as a player, I try to respect and try to do it. So in that matter, we haven't been together for more than 10-15 minutes, only in training, and until tomorrow, after the game, keep it that way. About the CPL, I've been seeing more York games because of my brother, and I enjoy seeing it. I have a lot of friends in the CPL. I think it's a league that's growing, and I just want to keep watching and keep pushing and keep rooting for the players, because obviously it's everybody's dream to be on a national team, and I think they have the capability to be here. So yeah, I think independently, there's always going to be a debate of who's the better team, who has the best players. I think all teams are pushing to be better, and we're one of those teams. We kind of won a little edge here by making out the group stage of Copa America. But at the same time, we spoke in the past. We're trying to be our best team here. We're gonna have an amazing tournament in the summer that we want to be in a strong level and compete for it, and then just try to make our best possible way to the World Cup and be a very, very good team there. There's always going to be the debate. That's a situation that we don't really pay much attention to. We just try to be the best Canada possible, and if we're the best Canada possible, I think we're the best team of the region. I'm always going down. I don't understand why, to be honest. I think Moise Bombito is gonna have the biggest change. I think he deserves it. I mean, couple of players, but I think Moise is gonna be the one that wins the most out of it. About me, to be honest, I think I should be with the higher value, but at the same time, I don't play FIFA, so it's okay.
Yeah, I think, look, behind the scenes, there seems, and again, it's not so easy for me to comment because I'm not always part of all of these conversations, but there seems to be a real strong alignment right now between the women's team, the men's team, and the CSA. And I think they're really close to finalizing or aligned with everything for a CBA. And I think everybody's really excited about the possibility of continuing and hopeful that we find an agreement with the CSB so that we can put all of this together for a great agreement for everyone and then really move together all in one direction in the sport. So I'm hopeful that we're on the right course for these things, and that soon that I can stand in front of you and say, look, everyone in Canada soccer is fully aligned. And I can give a big compliment to the men's team, because I know they've made some sacrifices, because they know how important this moment in 2026 is for the country, and they're willing to put their best foot forward in every way, as players, as men, as role models, to really provide the country with the experience that we deserve, and to help make sure that we create an incredible foundation and launch this sport for the futures. So we're close. I really.
Just a quick follow-up. When you came in, and if you were aware of that, how important was it for you to make sure that I mean, I know you're not directly involved in it, but make sure there was a resolution there, just for the harmonious nature of the association.
Yeah, we don't need to go back, but I talked to you, I think, even Matt, about how in the beginning, I had heard from everybody what a disaster the Canada Soccer Association. But my experience in being here has been incredibly professional, right? And as much as we don't have all the resources that maybe we need and deserve, I know we're going to get there because of the leadership inside of the CSA. So Kevin Blue is doing so many positive things behind the scenes to really make sure that the infrastructure of what this is for the future will launch our program. So, yeah, I think all these guys have put a lot into work to really align themselves to make sure that we can move forward in a good way. So we're close.
Thanks, guys.
Yep,
we are. All right. Thank you, everybody.